drama is I draw big bums, but I actually draw people who have big bums. It's called the artistic license. So I grew up in Africa, definitely. My mom, my aunts, the maids, the neighbors' maids, all these people are African women. And so they are my inspiration. Also, sometimes you need a talking point in a painting. So some of these things I did not plan, but I stumbled upon. My name is Patrick Mukabi. I'm a visual artist for the last 20 years, almost 20 years. I was born in Nairobi and grew up in Nairobi, Mombasa. When I started going out to the streets, drawing people, Kangemi Market, South Bay Market, Ngara, and when you want to draw them and they see you, it becomes why are you drawing us? Or they give you a fake pose. So when they're not looking at me, it was easier. So I ended up having a whole bunch of sketches, people facing away. And one student they were doing their A-levels, asked me the question. And it's when I realized that actually I draw people mostly from behind or sideways. And for me, I took it to be like, it can be part of my subjects. Okay? But it was not intentional. And then when I did a course in branding, I discovered I'm actually branding myself. Yeah. I think the drive is always to do the next best painting in the world, to become the best. My inspiration is the human figure. I've always been attracted to the human figure, and that's why women are very, very important. Because my eye will first see the woman, and then it will see something else. The light and shadow, the poses, because they tell you people walk in biology, there's a structure, but in art, people walk in a different way. Everybody has got a different beat and a flow. When people stand again, they don't stand that straight, they always have a pose, and that one I can go like, wow, let me try and capture that. Light and shadow, the way it falls on the body, again, it can create a story. And then the drapery also, how it flows on the body. All those things can attract me. So some of my paintings have a meaning, some is just a pose. Exhibitions, I exhibited mostly around Nairobi. So I'm in group exhibitions most of the time. French Cultural Center, Village Market, Kuta Institute, and also museums and other cultural places in Nairobi. I do a lot of group exhibitions. And this is just to make sure that I'm in the market always. People are always like seeing you. If you disappear, it's easy to get lost in the market. And then also, I've done solo exhibitions, both in and outside the country. So I think I've done exhibitions in the US, UK, Denmark, Finland, India, where else? Africa, most African countries, again, East Africa, all of East Africa I've done. South Africa I've done shows also. Yeah. So it's basically many places. On commissions, I've done for NCBA now. Java somehow put me like more in the limelight. And then also the World Bank, I have pieces done for the World Bank. Hotels, Sankara, quite many. Yeah, the airport here, I have a very big commission that I did for airport authorities. I think that was, so far it's my biggest ever. Yes. I think when I started out, at Corona Trust when it was in the National Museum. And parents would come and say, my child is not good educationally, but artistic, can you please mentor? And I found, working with teenagers, especially rebellious ones, they calm down and they start painting. They start looking for alternatives instead of forcing one way. And then when I moved to the Go Down Art Center, it became more serious now, because I had the studio space and people would come all the way from Korogosho, Kibera. We have people from Kangemi, and some would walk and ask for space, and I asked them why. I want to be an artist, and then I don't know where to start, how to begin, where to get this inspiration. The myth of the artist needing to be high to get inspiration to me does not apply, because if the highness is not there, there's no inspiration. So we try and tell them to dig deep into them. When are you inspired? What inspires you? And you have to give it a time. Is it a week? 4 hours a day? Is it 2 hours a day? Just to be there where you get inspired. I have a student who used to go to Hulu Park and just look up, sleep on, look up, and he would come with sketches next day. And I ask him how. Tell me, look at the clouds. They have stories. They're playing around there. So you teach them how to get this inspiration from just things around them. It doesn't come from going high or space. Inspiration just comes from around you. It's always there.
Niajeni, my name is Solomon Luvai. Stroke Solo, Stroke Trace Tattoos. I was a student at Railways Museum, Dust Depot. I was mentored by Patrick Mukabi. He taught me how to paint, to charcoal, and that led me into bettering my skill as a tattoo artist. So yeah, Patrick amenitoa mbali sana for the past, I think 5 years. Yeah, 5 years ago. I went to his studio as an intern from BIFA, and then I grew my skill and got so much into charcoal. So after that, yeah, nikakamkulan a lot. I've done so many mediums, by the way. Nimefanya charcoal, acrylic paints, even oil paints. So yeah, that's where my major is. But Patrick has always been my go-to person. And then in tattoos, let me say I came to do it at his studio. That's where I started tattooing from. But basically I got the skill when I was in BIFA. And then so tattooing is just something that I started from his studio, but he led me into pushing forward. And you can also check out my page at Trace Tattoos via Instagram, Facebook Trace Tattooist, but Facebook I'm not so much there, but Instagram Trace Tattoos, Trace_Tattoos.